Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. This is the official match preview between South Africa taking on England in the Rugby World Cup semi-finals. Boy oh boy am I excited. It's a big game. It's a revenge story. It's history making. Everything. So in this video we'll look at the lineups, see what matchup stands out, where each team can win or lose the game, and of course we're going to start off with looking at the history between the two teams, just like the past 5 games, and then at the end of the video, as you know, we'll have a prediction. Let's get into it. Starting off with looking at the history between the two teams, the past 5 games. England have got the better of South Africa in the past 5 games. Believe it or not, in the last 5 games in 2018 it was the final game of the English tour of South Africa. Of course, South Africa won that tournament or won that tour in the first 2 games, but England pulled the final one over the line at Newlands. And then in 2018 again, at the end of the year, Autumn Nations Tour, England won again, 12-11. And then the game after that one was the one in the World Cup. 32-12, of course, that was the World Cup final where South Africa lifted the trophy. And that is the big one. That is the one that England will feel they need some revenge. They need some payback for that one. There's a lot of players in their starting lineup and on their bench that felt the hurt of that loss. Of course, there was some great relief in England when there was the Autumn Nation International in 2021 where they got the revenge story done. They got 27-26 victors over South Africa. And then the Autumn Nations International the year after, in 2022, South Africa got revenge again. 13-27 victors for South Africa. So South Africa in the past 5 games have only won 2 of them, whilst England have won 3 of them. So very tight contested between the two teams. If you take the whole of 2018 tour into context, of the past 7, South Africa has won 4 and England has won 3. So whichever way you look at it, it's very, very tight between the two nations. Of course, South Africa going into this game with a bit more momentum. Well, you say that, but England is the only undefeated team in the tournament left. So, without any further ado, let's just look at the lineups and the potential matchups here. We got Stephen Kitsoff, Bongi Manambi and Frans Malherbe going up against Joe Marler, Jamie George and Dan Cole. That is a massive, massive battle. It's a massive call from Steve Borthwick to switch the lineups for him a bit. I didn't expect Joe Marler to start. Of course, Marler came from the bench against South Africa, and if I'm not mistaken, Eddie Jones said that was one of his biggest mistakes to not start Joe Marler. So Ellis Genge on the bench, with Carl Sinclair as well on the bench. They'll go head-to-head with Oxenche and Vincent Koch. It's up for debate who's the stronger forward back for England. Is it their starters? Is it their bench? Do they have Ellis Genge and Carl Sinclair on the bench purely to nullify the bomb squad? Do they think Marler and Dan Cole has enough to withstand the likes of Stephen Kitsoff and Frans Malherbe? So that is a massive, massive battle. As you know, South Africa likes to scrum. We're calling scrums when we mark the ball in the 22 and then win scrum penalties from it. So, I mean, what can you say? Moving on, you got Eben Etzebeth and Franco Mooster taking on Mario Toja and George Martin. Of course, George Martin, I saw a stat that he's put into the squad because he makes more dominant tackles over the likes of Ollie Chesham. Will that play a factor? Eben Etzebeth and Franco Mooster have just been unstoppable this tournament. Like, truly unstoppable. Eben Etzebeth, he's putting his hand up to be World Player of the Year. Him and Adi Savia both in the running at the moment. Both have been playing absolutely brilliant rugby. And this is one of the arguments that I think has aged like milk. It's so sour at the moment. The likes of Eben Etzebeth versus Mario Toja has come from 2019. Eben Etzebeth won that one. And since then, Eben Etzebeth has been levels and levels and levels above Mario Toja. Mario just hasn't reached his potential. He's still got that potential. He's a brilliant player. We know what he can do. It's just not been the same. So maybe this is the perfect game for him to get excited. and make a name for himself once again, to knock the people that have been slandering him. But I'm sure it's a bet, and Franco Mostert, they'll be ready for this game. They know where the game is won and lost. Moving on to the Lucies, you got Siya Kolisi, Pieter Steph de Tooy, Dwayne Vermeulen, and that is just pure experience. Siya Kolisi, he needs to have a big game. Okay, he struggled against France, got taken off early. Was it due to an injury or whatever? But he needs a big game, and I think this is the perfect game to get him excited, because in the end, this is a rivalry. This is a big rivalry. Taking on Courtney Laws, Tom Curry, and Ben Earl. Of course, Courtney Laws played in the locks in the final, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, Sam Underhill was there in the flanker position. But Ben Earl has been a revelation to this England side. Of course, the Premiership doesn't get broadcasted in South Africa really, or it does, but like not all the games. We don't watch it, okay? But Ben Earl, so the first time I've seen him is in this World Cup, and he's been brilliant. I mean, look at the break that he made against Fiji. The guy's got some gas, very dominant. You see his presence on the field. Of course, Tom Curry, he's been struggling in this World Cup, got a red card, and then I think he really struggled against Fiji, especially in that first couple of minutes, gave away a lot of penalties. But we've got the experience to match that. I mean, Pieter Steph de Tooy has been insane from before the World Cup. The guy has been putting in performance after performance after performance, never gets subbed. The only time he got subbed is to do a HIA and then came straight back onto the field. And then Dwayne Vermeulen, I am surprised Dwayne Vermeulen is starting this game. Really thought this is the game for Jasper Wiese. He knows a lot of these England players. He wants to go up against them. But I mean, you can't go wrong with Dwayne Vermeulen in the forwards. So overall, I gotta back South Africa when it comes to the advantage, when it comes to the forwards. It's just you're always gonna back South Africa when it comes to the physical aspect of the game, just because that is the strong point of a game. So moving on to the back line, you've got Kobus Reinach and Manie Libbok versus Alex Mitchell and Owen Farrell. I know a lot of people hate Owen Farrell, but I think some of it is undeserved hate. The guy was insane in that game against Fiji with his leadership. He took it on the shoulders, slotted the points, and really drove the team forward, if I can say it like that. So we have to put some respect on Owen Farrell's name. I don't know too much about Alex Mitchell, so I'll just skip him. But going up against Kobus Reinach and Manie Libbok, the perfect couple. That system just fits perfectly for me. Kobus Reinach and Manie, and then Faf and Andre. Both of our boys, Kobus and Manie, likes to attack the gain line. I do see England's defence is a bit leaky at the moment, and I think if those two can get the system running, Manie can get some free-flowing ball, get Damian and Jesse into gaps for our wingers to finish off, I think they could have a field day. Okay, but if I'm not mistaken, I heard it's probably going to be a wet and rainy game, which makes every game a bit tighter. Okay, so yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention it. Even though you would say South Africa is the favourites, but the scary part is that they could be overlooking England. I don't think the boys on the field are overlooking England at all. I mean, just look at the press conferences. Andre Pollard said if there's beef, there's going to be beef. They know they're coming for revenge. So our boys will be up for that game as well. So there won't be our guys not pitching up. I promise you that. Our boys always play for their jersey, play for the country. So I don't see our boys not showing up whatsoever. Okay? Just before people start stressing. Moving on to the centres, Damien Dialinde, Jesse Kriel. Both of them have been absolutely immense. Jesse Kriel with probably his best performance in the green and gold jersey, going up against Manu Tuilagi and Joe Marchant. That is a big battle. It's very much the same centres. Manu Tuilagi and Damien Dialinde both play the same game. Joe Marchant, I don't know too much about him. I'm just familiar with Henry Slade in the 13 jersey. So Joe Marchant there, it's a new face. I don't know what to expect with it. But I mean, our boys will be up for it. Damien Dialinde, his job will just be crash that ball, get over in the right time, make the tackles. Those are the two workhorses in our back, not even in our back line, just overall. They just do everything. Okay, moving on to the wingers, and I think this is where the big difference between the two teams come. Because I don't see Elliot Daly as a winger. I don't think he has the pace to be a winger. I think he's a very decent fullback. He's got a good boot on him. He knows how to read the game. But the speed difference between him and Cheslin Colby, or him and Kurtley Arendse, is crazy. And then Johnny May, most English players would tell you they don't know why he's starting for England. I was on a TikTok live literally the other day, and they said Johnny May shouldn't even start for his franchise or his club team, which is crazy. Henry Arundel all day long had to be there. Just the threat of having him there makes a total difference. So, for instance, you play against South Africa, you're defending wide because you know you can't give Colby that space. But then the ball doesn't get to him because we're running it through the midfield because we're not going to give him the ball if there's no space. You start defending him a bit tighter. Now there is space. Now you give it to him, and then it's good night. So just the threat of someone being there can cause troubles in defence. So Henry Arundel would have been perfect. And then, of course, no Marcus Smith. Freddie Stewart comes in onto that fullback position. I think that is just because they know the high ball is coming. Gives you that bit extra length, bit more security under the high ball. But that is up for interpretation for the English fans. Would you have rather have seen Marcus Smith or Freddie Stewart? And of course they're going up against Damian Willemse, who's taking the 15 jersey of South Africa and making it his own. He's been absolutely sensational since going into that 15 position. Moving on to the bench, we got Dion Fourie, Mr. Fine Wine himself, Oxenchair the steamroller, and Vincent Koch, the Mr. Bench. Going up against Theo Dan, Ellis Gensch, Carl Sinclair. Now that is a massive battle because I rate Ellis Gensch, and of course Carl Sinclair got knocked out in 2019, so he'll be up for a story of vengeance. So that is a massive battle. Of course, Oxenchair, in my opinion, has been our best prop in this World Cup. He's been on sensational form. Crazy when it comes to scrum time. He's battle hardened, everything you want from the bench, and I don't think he's I don't think Oxenchair is too old. I still think he's got a big few years in him. So I love Oxenchair. He's probably my favorite prop at the moment. We gotta get him there at the Stormers. Dion Fourie, he's just been doing the job. I mean, I think he slotted in at flanker at first, and then went to the hooker position later on in the game against France. So massive for us. Ergie Snyman, Kwagga Smith, the two best bench players in the world. You can't go wrong with them. Of course, they always change the game. They're going up against Ollie Chesham and Billy Vunipola. Billy Vunipola should have retired at the previous World Cup. The guy, surely there's someone else that could take that 8th position, or surely. That's all that I'm going to end it with. And then Faf de Klerk, Andre Pollard, Willie Leroux going up against Danny Kerr, George Ford, Ollie Lawrence. The bench is massive for both teams. I think the game will be tight in the first half, first 50 minutes, and then the bench will truly impact the game. Moving on to our predictions. I'm not going to take long with the predictions. I've got the Springboks. As I said, the game will be tight at the start, but I've got South Africa to win comfortably. Well, I say comfortably. It's up for interpretation. I've got the Boks by 12 points. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you.